I deeply upset the manosphere this week, and it's been my highest performing podcast I've ever released. And
My
it's
God.
had over 1.2 million views on Instagram. You wanna
What?
click from it?
What?
I've had 7,000 new followers on my business page and my podcast page.
So how did you do what? What the hell?
Well, I
How
have
did
a
you do
really good
that?
producer who creates great clips, but I spoke about
I think we're ready to go. Caitlyn, I've just had a fantastic conversation with you, and I wish I recorded it.
I know, it's always the way, right?
Now we're recording, and we're actually doing the podcast. It's going to go to absolute shit, and we should just not.
We're both such a bore. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited that you're here on the show today because you were actually one of the first people when I sort of said to people, hey, I'm doing a podcast. Do you want to be on it? And you're like, hell yeah, I want to be on the show. Is it because it's called Balls Deep that you wanted to be here?
Yes, that's one reason. Also, I get to hang out with you.
Ah, you're too nice. I'll
I just
pay you
think
that
we're
$10
both really
later.
weird and contrasting, and I think that's kind of this beautiful amalgamation, and I think that I'm just excited to kind of see where it goes today.
Well, for those of you who don't know who Caitlyn is, where have you been all your life? I think you need to get with the program. Now, Caitlyn's a fantastic business coach. She actually works with people who do a lot with hair. So we're talking hairdressers, barbershops, and we even talked before about dog groomers. So she's got a dog groomer.
I do.
And my dog got groomed the other day.
Yep.
I spend more on my dog grooming than I do on myself.
Oh.
So the dog gets the paramount stuff. Anyway, I picked him up yesterday, and the dog groomer's like, so, do dog owners, want to get groomed as well at the same time as their dog? And I thought, what a great business idea. You
Have
get
them
the
both
dog and you
together.
at the same time. And then she started talking about, we're not going to do Brazilians. We're not going to do any of that stuff. And I said, well, can you imagine us both going into the hydro bath, getting washed together at the back? And then I can just imagine it's a great package.
I love that you can take yours to the groomer. My Rottweiler's great. We just chuck him in the shower, take him to the dog wash, whatever, he's fine. My Staffy, I have to stand there and hold the shower door shut while my husband's trying to shampoo her because all she's trying to do is scratch and escape. And it's just it's a fucking ordeal, to be honest.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. So you've got a podcast too.
I do.
And how many episodes have you done so far?
Oh, I think I just had 28 come out this week. And to be honest, I deeply upset the manosphere this week, and it's been my highest performing podcast I've ever released, and it's had over 1.2 million views on Instagram.
What?
I've had 7,000 new followers on my business page and my podcast page.
So how did you do what? What the hell?
Well, I
How
have
did
a
you do
really good
that?
producer who creates great clips, but I spoke about fucking men and how useless they are in the dating pool.
So hold on, backtrack a little bit. Let's do the Wayne's World rewind. You're telling me that you did a podcast and it went viral, right?
It went viral.
And so what was the topic again?
Look, it was masculine, feminine energy. The snippet that went viral from it was me basically saying that most single men are fucking losers and women don't want to date them. In an way. It was a little bit more neatly packaged than that. But basically the whole podcast, like, I'm in a beautiful marriage. I have the most incredible husband ever, but everyone prior to him has been a bit of a pleb. And, the whole episode was basically that, like, I believe in a successful relationship, all people have to have a bit of masculine and a bit of feminine energy, especially in, like, what I do. I'm a coach. I'm a business owner. I lead people. I have to be masculine at work. It's the only way to be successful in business. And I believe that in my soul. But I also come home, I work from home, but I leave my office and I have this incredible man who just, like, takes the bins out and picks up the dog shit and just helps around the house. And it's like, I get to just be like a soft, girly wife. You know what I mean? It's kind of that, but the snippet was epic. They took the best cut out of it. And
did you post that just on your Facebook page, on your Instagram, and and people just started sharing it?
It has had, I reckon, it's had like 6,000 comments on it. It's been absolutely fucking insane. I've never had anything like this happen before, and I love that it's kind of happened this week, right before this, because usually I'm on the other side,
Right.
but today I get to be the
So
guest.
what do I have to say on
The
this
male
episode
version
for
is
it to go viral? Can you just tell me what so we need to talk about masculine and femininity on
you
this
have to be
episode.
polarizingly opinionated.
Right. So it's almost like I have to be capable of being cast on Big Brother. If I'm good or maths, if I can go on maths,
Maths.
I
Well,
am the guy.
that's kind of like where this whole thing started from, because Cam and I were sitting and having like we love maths, we froth it. It's our wind down, it's our turn our brains off and just look at how pathetic everybody else is. Um, Men and women, the girls are worse this year. The girls are fucking shocking. But we basically were talking about it, and Cam's like, it's actually really hard to believe that like 4 men are sitting there saying that by moving into their woman's house, they're emasculated. Like, he's like, how fucking ridiculous. Like, this is 2026. Like, what are people on about? And even, yeah, just like the girls bullying the boys, and just like it's been a weird year for maths this year. And that's actually where this whole conversation started, was like, are people still like this? Like, really? Really? There's
Mm,
not two equal people in a relationship now? What? Why?
yeah. I mean, so many people have different value systems, don't they? And I think,
Right.
but maths has brought us all together, and so
It's United Australia.
it really has. It's our national anthem, practically. I think the opening, to be honest, you even mentioned it in Parliament. They were talking in question time, and our prime minister's like talking about maths because they had a session in the middle of when maths was on, and I think he was referencing it. That's how important that it is.
Fuck.
It should possibly even be in our constitution, and we should have a referendum to
It's
refer and regard, talk about maths.
it's honestly just one of those things. It's like watching a car accident in slow motion, but like you can't look away. Like, we need to watch every episode now. Like, if we miss it, we'll watch it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah. So it went viral, right? And your podcast is for business, right? Because you're a business coach and you help people
yeah.
grow and scale
Yeah.
and get out of their own way.
Yeah.
So has that actually translated into real business for you?
I've got 2 sales calls next week, yeah, from it.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's my podcast is kind of, I guess, a little bit what yours is. We were discussing before we started this, which is kind of like I'm alternating between solo ep and interview ep. So I'm bringing on just cool people doing cool shit. You're actually top of my list, and I haven't even reached out to you yet, which is so annoying, so rude of me. Woo! But then it's kind of like sometimes it's business, sometimes it's life stuff, sometimes it's sharing stories, sometimes it's sharing my opinions, which apparently is what people like from me.
I love that. See, we're just starting here with Balls Deep with interviews with awesome people that I know, because I know so
Right.
many fantastic people. You're one of
You
them. We
do.
um and I'm thinking of some solo episodes, and I was like, what do I call that? It's probably be Balls Deep with myself, or
Yeah.
something, or Balls Deep in
Yeah,
myself. Who
bullshit
knows
with
how it's going
yourself
to be?
is, would be difficult, yeah.
Look, where there's a will, there's a way. Uh,
You can
so
rise to the challenge.
you've said some really cool things so far that really fascinate me. Number one, about obviously you're creating content and that's translated into business for you. And I think a
Uh-huh.
lot of businesses, we're living in the era of content. And
Yeah,
content is king has always been something that we've always said, right? Like, it's always been known.
for
Gary
sure.
Vaynerchuk has been shouting that from the rooftops since the day he was born,
Yep,
that you need to be creating content, and you created content and went viral from it.
yep.
Um, and you also was talking about, I guess, the topic of it, of masculine and feminine. I'm fascinated by both of these. I actually wanted to
Mm.
talk about the what you said about being masculine in
Mhm.
business first, because that
Yeah,
that actually stood out to me.
yeah.
And how did you form the belief that you need to be masculine in business?
You have to be decisive. You have to make tough decisions. You have to stand your ground. They're not things that naturally come from a feminine part of us. You know what I mean? I also have that. I'm very nurturing. I'm very caring. I love my clients. I'm there for them as well. But for the most part of it, leadership, decisiveness, charging, asking for sales, doing sales calls, those sorts of things are not things that are inherently feminine or inherently female. And I think it's kind of like I actually cringe when I even have the conversation with myself because I think, oh, masculine energy, feminine energy, like ick. But I also think my husband, for example, is a team leader as well. He was formerly a TAFE teacher. He also ran gyms and things like that. So he's like super assertive and super whatever. But then, recently when I was at home and he could see that I was having a bit of a meltdown, he just came and like bear hugged me and asked me what was going on and what I needed. And in that moment, I was like, wow, that's kind of him going into his feminine, but it's still very like strong and incredible and beautiful and exactly what I needed in that moment. But normally a man would be like, or someone in masculine energy would be like, how do I fix you? What are the solutions? Like, that type of vibe. And I think everybody has to have both within them to be successful at adult, really.
Because we're all mix of both energies, right? So like you can
100%.
be a male, you can be female,
Yep.
or you could be undecided or whatever,
Yep.
space that you're in.
Correct. Yep.
But we all have a spectrum of energy in sense of like we can lean into our masculine and we can lean into our feminine. But masculine doesn't necessarily mean that you're a man,
No. God, no.
does it? So,
Not at
and
all.
but do you think that the term masculine feminine still relates to gender, like, and we have a weird sort of response to that?
Yeah. I think that people take that and run with it in the wrong way too. I liked what you said there about the sliding scale as well, because there's certain elements of our life that require different parts of us and that scale to move up and down. And I think that I kind of almost believe that people who've got to tell you that they're alpha and they're masculine and they're the man and they're the whatever are usually not. They're usually like the inferior, like bottom of the like really struggling with their masculinity a bit if they've got to tell you. But yeah, I think there's all different parts of our life that demand both. And I definitely don't think that there's rules about one gender has to be one specific energy more than the other. I would say that Cam and I are pretty well balanced, I'd say that
Mm,
you're pretty well balanced.
thank you. That's
Yeah,
nice. I don't feel balanced sometimes, but
same.
but but sometimes I don't think we necessarily know what our energy is sometimes in
Yep,
business. And s
yep.
and it's fascinating conversation because I remember when I was, I think I said this on one of the earlier podcasts. When I was learning sales, I was like too nice at the beginning. Like my energy was like, I don't want to upset them. I want to be polite. The corporate Michael. And then when my sales coach said to me, like, you need to be the leader. You need to
Yeah,
like be able to slap them but
yep,
with love, but not
yep.
like aggressively. And I had to go, and then I ended up swearing at the person over the phone, like, I am the bear, and I went too far. And
That's
anyway, I got
amazing.
off the phone, and I'm like, oh, shit. What have I done? But I had to
That's
do
the
that in order
best.
to find the space of
Yes.
where my energy sat.
Yeah,
But when you're training your staff, you don't necessarily want to be the dominant energy. You sometimes
totally.
want to step into your other side,
Completely.
don't you?
And
Yeah.
yeah, completely. I think it's funny you talk about sales because I hate sales in the context of signing up a client is I hate it. I'm not good at I'm the same as you. I'm too emotional. I just get like, well, probably you're not now, but like, I'm too emotional. I just want to cuddle them and I'm like, I want to be more of that person. But I have a high ticket closer now. And you would look at her and you would think she's this like soft little glamorous little thing. And holy moly, her on a
Uh,
call is the best thing ever. And I love she does that and I get to do what I like doing the most.
yeah. Also, so you're a masculine businesswoman.
I'd say so. Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
say so.
rock on, right.
I think people think I'm a lot harder or tougher than what I actually am. I think I'm actually quite soft and gooey, but I show up how I need to for that particular task or thing or whatever.
Do you consciously do that, or does it just happen
Yeah.
naturally?
No, I think when I was first getting on stages and things like that and like so I am one of the people that fears public speaking more than death. That is
Mhm.
there is nothing I hate more than public speaking, but I do it because it makes me better and it's good for me. And I think doing really scary things in safe environments is really important for people in business and in, trying to move into that sort of space. And now I'm well versed in it, but I still don't love it, if that makes sense. But I think definitely then I would almost have to consciously put myself into a state before I could go and attack something. Even sometimes before certain coaching calls or things like that, I was like, oh, I'm already a bit nervous. But I think that comes with experience. You just kind of lean in and do what you need to do.
What is it about public speaking that scares you the most?
I think I care I really care about delivery and giving value. And I think, if I'm going into a room, like if it's all salon owners or something, I know that I can usually give 1 or 2 things away. When there's staff in the room, that complicates things a bit because it's more of a broad it's not so niche. But I also don't want people to go and invest their money and walk away from something and be like, "Oh, that was so shitty," or like,
Mm,
I feel like I got nothing out of that. Like, it's not only their money, it's their time. They're trusting me to deliver on something. So I think it probably comes from that. I think also, I've attended some things before that perhaps were a bit I've left and I've been like, "Oh, that was horrible." And I'm a learner. I love learning. I love going into rooms and taking things away, and I always try and find something, but sometimes that's really hard, and I don't wanna be that person.
yeah, wow. So you have a bit of you're really self-aware and you're really aware of like what's going on inside of you, but you're
Yeah.
doing it anyway.
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
think I think, like, if you wait till you're ready, you'll just never be ready and it'll never happen, so you've just gotta decide and do,
I
like
really relate to some of the things that you said about like when we confront the thing that scares us the most and you do it, you actually grow like heaps. So like when I was 13, I grew up in the country
Yeah.
and I went to a little private school in like 120, 150 students. And we're
Oh
talking like
my
from primary school to
god.
grade 10. Like it's a
Oh my
small school, right?
gosh. Explains so much.
Does not. I was only there for 3 years, so shut up. So, I was there and, I was in grade 8, so what I've been like 13,
Yep,
14, and this school, at the time was doing like a home-based learning
yep.
self-paced learning at the time, so it wasn't even
That's
classrooms, it
crazy for
was
back then.
yeah, well, it was a system from America called ACE,
Yeah,
Accelerated
right.
Christian Education. And
Oof.
so it was designed for homeschooling,
Yeah,
but
right.
they translated it into a classroom so that students wouldn't be held back by other students. So you could literally go as fast as you wanted and complete the course,
Kind of like a
right?
Steiner Montessori type learning where you kinda do the things you're interested in, the things you're good at.
Not quite. You still had to do
Yeah.
like the basic subjects, but if you needed help, you had an American flag and an Australian flag, right? And you put it up top on the desk, and the teacher for that flag would come and help you.
Best.
It was like
I'm dying.
but it was so different, but that only happened for about a year, okay? But
Okay,
as part of all the schools that did this type of education, they had a thing called the convention. And then the
right.
convention was like a come together of all the students, home-based learning and schools to do like a Stedford kind of
Yeah,
thing. So
I remember
you could
Ross
do
said it.
yeah, you could do art and have it judged against other kids'
Oh,
art and like an ECHA or a show where,
yeah.
you're being judged. So I wanted to do singing. Now I don't know why
Kidding.
I yeah,
What?
I wanted to sing. I can't even remember why I wanted to sing, but I like to sing. So I wanted to do a solo. And as part of my practice of that, I had to stand in front of the whole school when I was 13 or so, singing a song by
Mm.
myself. No one around me, literally like someone playing the piano, whatever it was, and I'm singing this song. And I'd never sung in front of like an audience, let alone my school
God.
friends and like the school. And my legs were shaking like freaking like jelly, like my knees uncontrollably, and they wouldn't stop. I'm like, "Fucking hell," like, I'm even more
You're
nervous
just
thinking it
wobbling on you're vibrating on
like,
stage.
I'm gonna fall over, they're wobbling that much. It's like I'm on stilts. Um,
That
and
is so funny.
one of the kids was laughing, and I don't blame him because it would have been quite
Bastard.
funny. One of the teachers came up and took him out of the assembly because it's like, "Don't laugh at him."
Yeah.
But that was the scariest thing. Now,
How
ever
good.
since that point, standing in front of a room's been easy.
I love that. And you did it when you were, like, 14.
13, 14, yeah.
That's wild. I love
So
that so much.
like, doing acting, doing shows,
I
standing
was
in
gonna
front
say,
of
is
a
that where the
room,
theater thing started?
it didn't start there, but being in front of an audience was nothing because it
That's
was like,
awesome.
"I've already done that. I've confronted the fear, and I did it anyway." And
Oh,
even though I was, like, petrified, I
your
just
body was
stood th I
petrified, your
I'm
little
fucking shitting my
legs.
I'm so surprised I didn't shit my pants, to be honest with you. Like, it was that intense,
Wow.
but everything else was easy. Now, I was still nervous when we did the convention itself
Of
because,
course.
like, it had more meaning then because competition, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
a different energy. But, like, skydiving, I've done that. Confronted fear of heights. That
Mm,
was like a fear. And I think we all have these fears that when even though we still feel it, you just do it, right? And you grow as a result.
you have to. I think there's something about just channeling that energy into something else, but could you imagine just not doing things for your whole life just because they scare you and then you just stay the same person that you are, like, forever? That is more terrifying to me than doing something scary.
But so many people do that. And I would
I
think
know.
people who are employed, they stay in jobs they hate and they don't want to change. Or they just keep going and going. People in business, mate, the goal is almost to maintain status quo because
Yeah.
you grow, you coming up with new problems and new challenges, and it's risky, right?
Yeah.
And so and this is a great transition into terms of like the business coaching realm. Um, a couple of things. Firstly, I want to know why you wanted to be a business coach. Like,
Yeah.
why are you in that? And secondly, I'd love to know, like, how do you find that fear in your clients? And how do you approach that? How do you help them with that? So maybe you start with why, and then we'll talk about like the
Yeah.
fear.
I've always been entrepreneurial. I mean, I used to sell things at markets. I used to make jewelry and I used to just do things when I was really young. And then I ended up buying my first hairdressing salon when I was 19, which is crazy to think about actually all the way back then. And this is like pre-Instagram. I think Facebook was just a new thing, like very, very early days service industry, really hard. But it was amazing. By 22, I had two. By 23, I was back to one. That was a fuck up.
Ooh.
By 24, I had 2 again, and then by 25, I was back to 1 because that was another fuck up. And then by and then by 27, I opened a barber shop as well. I'd upsized my salon. Things were going really well. So my first salon I turned from when I bought it, it had 3 staff, including myself, and it was turning over about 150 grand a year. And when I sold it 9.5 years later, it was turning over 3.3 million and had 28 staff. It was a zoo. Could
Wow.
you imagine 28 hairdressers in the same room? It was mental. So fun, but
Did they all
mental.
smoke? And you guys sort of during smoke breaks, you're all
I feel
like,
like in the
"Nah."
early days, yes. In the later days, nah.
Nah.
And then, yeah, I had a beautiful barbershop, which I started as well, which went from, 0 to 7 staff within 3 years. And then I sold that too. But,
Wow.
throughout that time, I was doing fashion weeks all over the world and doing lots of teaching in terms of like color and cutting training and those sorts of things. But I realized there was actually a really massive gap in like business education. And it was, through meeting you and meeting Ben and everything that actually got me off the floor. I was fully off the floor by the time I was 27. And, all my staff were running things for me. I had a management team. And then, yeah, people basically just started going, hey, how do you do it? Like, how do you, whatever? And I was like, I could monetize this.
And
And I did.
how did you monetize it? Like, how did you start?
Okay, so I realized, look, I was also a friend of Carissa's and a client of Carissa's as well. And I sort of spoke to her about it. And
So for everyone listening, Carissa Hill is also a fantastic coach, and she's been helping a lot of, like, beauty salons and hair salons as well, so
yes,
yeah.
yes. So she was helping me. She was helping me with my marketing. Then I went on to Ben. Obviously, it was just a different style of marketing and things like that too.
That's Ben
And
Simkin, everyone.
Ben Simpkins, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm talking
Taylor's
to you
talking
like
to
you're
me
my
like,
friend in
"You
the lounge.
I know who she means, but you probably have no freaking idea, so
And
I'm
you
here to
did lots
help."
of those mentoring sessions too. That's how I met you. So it was great. But, I was talking to Carissa about it and I was like, because she's very like marketing, social media, branding, like that's really her niche. And I think that's awesome. But I was like, I actually feel like we need more like, as boring as it is, like financial literacy, like sales skills, like team leadership, like that sort of thing. And I was like, what do you think? Do you think I should do it? And she was like, I think you would be amazing at this. And I think you should 100% do it. And then I sold 5 people into it before I'd even built anything. So that
How
was
did you
kind
do
of like
that?
people just asked, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm actually
No, but how
starting
did
it."
but why did they ask? So they just came to you and said, how did you build your
Yeah.
business?"
Yeah. So mine was
And you
all networking. I haven't done any paid marketing until last year. None.
wow. Wow. And so how did you come up with the price? How did you work that
I
out?
had a stab. So back then I was 250 a week because I know my people, right? The people that I'm teaching are literally me when I was 25. That's why, like, that is literally who they are. And my clients are anywhere between 25 and probably 45 now. There's a couple of older ones as well, but like they're still at that sort of stage of their career. But I just had a stab. I just went, 250 a week sounds good. If I get 4 clients, that's $1,000. That's amazing. And then basically signed 5 people on, had
Yeah.
to start recording things and had to start putting things out there, and met my friend who built websites and got him to put it all together for me. And I just started. And I think my first year I turned over like 400 grand or something.
That's great for a first year.
It was huge.
What everything you touch, except the maybe the 2 mistakes that you made when you were building your salon, but, like,
I talk
you
about that too. I'm like, please don't do what I did.
but I think there's a lot that's probably what makes you a good coach because you've learned from the mistakes,
Oh
but you've also
God.
learnt from the successes, and
Yeah.
people are pretty drawn to your success more. They go, "Oh my," like, if I said, "Hey, I've built a $5 million salon or $3 million,"
Yep.
and they're sitting at 100 that 200,000 or
Yeah.
300,000, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Well, how do I learn how to do that?" Then all of a sudden you're the expert because you've achieved a level of success, you
Totally.
know?
I think
Um,
people don't talk about the fuck ups enough either. Like I've learned more from that than I have from the things I've done right. Are you kidding?
so where did you fuck up?
Okay, so the second salon, so the first salon was going really horribly. I had a whole bunch of renters and staff, like subcontractors and staff. I thought I was doing great because there was like lots of money coming in, but there was like lots of money going back out again. And I also didn't realize that I was the main income earner because I didn't track anything. I didn't look at anything. I just hope for the
Mm,
best.
mm.
I've got debt. I'm like spending like I fucking live in a castle. Like, I'm just like throwing money away like you do when you're young and dumb and full of cum, and that's what you just do on your weekends. But
Oh, oh,
um then sorry, I'm really derogatory
I
sometimes.
go for it.
Then, basically I thought, "Oh, well, I want another business because I want more money," and one came up. It was a great little salon, so then I bought that. And then that was also horrible. And then I had it was just me, and the old owner was renting a chair off me in that salon at that time, and then I had an apprentice as well, but that was it. So I kind of split my time between both. And then I had a really horrific motorbike accident. I got hit while I was riding my motorbike by a car that was driving
Mm,
on the wrong side of the road, and so then I couldn't work for about 5, 6 months, and then all my businesses fell apart.
yeah,
No
health,
systems.
yeah.
Yeah, no systems, no management. None of my staff stepped up. None of them took on any of my clients. Like, they were just awful. And so then it was kind of like I made the decision while I was literally still in hospital that, like, the second one just has to go. So I just sold it for what I bought it for, but in a bit of debt and whatever, it was fine. 50 grand, I think, something like that. And then, yeah, just went back and, like, rebuilt the first one. The second one that was the failure, um, I went into business with my then boyfriend's sister, and I loved her and she was great, and it was in Country Vic, and I was always gonna be like just a silent partner, just do some of the training and stuff like that, because that's kind of was my world. And then I broke up with him and she just kind of like let me out. She took over my half and that was kind of it. So, you know, it was kind of an easy exit out of that one, but I think be careful who you go into business with.
That's a good lesson, and, the problem with a lesson like that is sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and it's like
Yeah.
no one goes into a relationship with somebody, whether it's in business or personal, thinking that they're gonna be an absolute arsehole.
Yeah, completely, and he
Like,
was.
yeah, but you wouldn't have gone into it had you have known or thought,
Correct.
and even, like, it's difficult, and so
Mm,
Um, some lessons of failures that we have, sometimes
yeah.
you might be aware of the lesson, but
Yeah.
it's actually very hard to be good at avoiding that mistake because some
100.
things are just hard to do, and it just takes
Yeah.
practice, doesn't it? Like, it just takes
Yeah,
awareness and experience of
totally.
going through the wrong one or going through the right one to
Yep.
kinda know.
And I think now it's like even like probably the biggest lesson out of both of those is, I say to people, I'm like, if you want 3, 4, 5 salons, you can have them. You can probably even have them within 6 months of each other, but you have to get the first one like working. Like the first one has to run right. Then it's just like copy paste, copy paste, copy paste.
Yeah.
Couple of little adaptations for wherever they are. But I also know that in my experience, business partnerships work about 5% of the time in this industry.
Yeah.
Different industries, different things, especially if you've got more investment style business partners and those sorts of things. Like my husband had a kind of like a behind the scenes owner of his gym, and then he was the other owner that was kind of the face of it. That works.
Mm.
When you got two people kind of facing it, I think it's can be messy.
It definitely can be. It can also
Yeah,
be the end of relationships too, very quickly, because
completely.
you're mixing because there's no break from between like your personal relationship and the business. So work doesn't stop. It's like a constant, never-ending thing. And if business is going badly, what happens to your relationship? And therefore,
Totally.
it's all connected, and it's bleh.
100%, 100%. So yeah, that's where I went wrong. Don't do what
Right.
I did.
So the biggest number one lesson so far is be careful who you go into business with if you're going to
Yep.
do that.
Mhm.
The second thing that you said was make sure if you're going to expand your business, make sure that the first one is right first. That's
Yeah.
systemized.
Yeah.
Money's good. You understand your numbers. You've got the right people. You aren't required potentially in the business to be actually doing
Wha
the do.
That's exactly what I was gonna add in there is like, if your business can't run without you, it's not a business, it's a job,
Yeah.
and a very stressful one at that. Very stressful, very expensive one. I'd rather go and be employed.
Do you look at okay, so you got you've had these lessons, but you've had amazing successes.
Thank you.
Do you look at the success as the money?
No, absolutely not. I work 3 days a week now.
But, like, when you had the salon, right, and you said,
Mm.
like, you built it, you had 28 staff and all that stuff.
Yeah.
What what was the win for you?
Um, well, yeah, I sold it for a shit ton of money. Sold it for over $500,000, which was awesome.
Was that the
Uh,
win?
that was one win. There's few wins. I think, look, one of the deciding factors of selling that business was that I didn't feel I was giving 100% to anything I was doing. So I was like pulled in all different directions. That year was the year that I decided to sell was actually the year that I left my ex-husband. I had a health scare and I went, that's not something I love anymore. I feel like all I do is put out fires. I feel like there's just constantly something going on. It just takes up too much of my time, even though I wasn't on the floor. It was just occupying everything that I had. And I was like, what I love is coaching. I love the flexibility. I love helping people. I love as a collective, helping my industry because I think that's really important as well in an industry that's always undercharged and always, whatever. It's a whole other tangent. But so I think for me, I was holding on to that because it was so financially lucrative. And I think by letting it go, then I was able to, like, actually put my focus into other things. So the successes would definitely be the money. I think the flexibility it gave me, I think at the end of the day, we need to buy more time. It's the only way you can do it. Mm.
Wow,
I
so
think helping people in their careers is also another one. We had
do
lots of
you miss
apprentices.
it? Do you miss the business? Oh,
You
why
couldn't
not?
pay me enough now.
Why don't you miss it?
Because right now I get to get up I wake up early, but I get out of bed at like 8 o'clock, walk down to my office, plug in, see my awesome clients, and I get to help them with their business. And I shouldn't say this because I've got salon owners that I work with, but I actually think sometimes the most money and the most flexibility is being the middleman. It's being the salesperson or it's being the coach that's coaching the other business owners. Like I don't have to do what they do. I just get to help them with their bit and they pay me for that. And I think that's probably more relevant as time goes on. The service industry will always have a place, it has to. But I think the most flexibility and freedom and happiness for me has been, yeah, being that middle person.
Right, well, so you found your space that sort of lights your spark a little bit, like, so
Yeah.
you found what you love.
Yeah.
You're able to scale that and help more people. So, like, in terms of your coaching right now, how many people do you work with at the moment?
89.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we've got about 50 of them are on memberships and stuff like that. So they'll be like, they pay a weekly fee. We catch up monthly or quarterly, depending on what they're doing. And they're either indie business owners, so they're like rent chairs, home salons, that thing, or they're big salon owners to like multiple locations.
Yeah.
And then we have the other 40-ish are like sort of casual people. So they'll just book as they need. They usually just buy a package and then they'll just book as they need throughout the year or
Gotcha.
whatever. It's
And
awesome.
and going back to I guess what we spoke about, the fear, like, little 13-year-old Michael singing a song in front of the school with his legs shaking. What do these salons fear the most? What's their biggest fear?
Okay, there's a lot. So the most I think the biggest fear at the moment is it's very much if you've got staff, there's a massive skill shortage, believe it or not, and people are really struggling to find staff. So I do think that people think by asserting themselves or their staff are gonna walk out on them and leave them high and dry.
Mm,
I think another fear is that if they enforce prices or if they do anything like that, their clients are also gonna up and leave them. It's a lot of rejection-based stuff. I also think there's a lot of people who, yeah, just kind of like are scared to leave it in the hands of their staff because they don't have the right structures, or it's those types of fears of just like, I need someone to kind of give me a spine and tell me what I need to do and tell me that I'm doing the right thing. It's a lot of validating things.
and do you how do you help them with that? Like, how do you help them
Mm.
overcome that fear?
First, we do a deconstruction. So I basically expose all the problems in their business, which is very
"You're
confronting.
shit because of this.
Yeah, pretty much. But I
Here's
make them
everything wrong
uncomfortable.
with you."
Well, I think one of the hardest things is, there's a lot of salon owners I speak to, barbershop owners, clinic owners, that sort of thing. They work like 60, 70, 80 hours. So I think the thing we do as business owners is we go, oh, yeah, so we're on the floor only 3 days a week, but then they're spending like 3, 4, 5 other days in the background doing the marketing, doing the whatever goes on, the finances, the wages, that stuff. And so I'm like, cool. So how many hours do you work in and on your business? Let's like start there, where that's week, month, whatever. And I'm like, cool. And then you've paid yourself, $1,000 a week is usually a pretty normal amount for people. And I'm like, cool. So you pay yourself about $12 an hour. Like, that's where
Mm.
we're starting. Like, is that okay for you? And they're like, oh, I've never looked at it like that. I'm like,
That reminds me of, like, The Biggest Loser. Remember The Biggest Loser?
God, I
Where
remember that.
the first starting point was the reality check. It
You have
was, "Hey,
to.
here's the truth. Like,
Yes.
here's a mirror, right? You're gonna look, and you
Yep.
may not like what you see, but here's what it is." And you know what? That's confronting fear right there, because I
Completely.
know that in my experience in business, when I've had some really tough times, I would avoid looking at my bank account. I don't wanna look at it.
I wouldn't answer my fucking phone. Like, there was a time where I was just like, "I'm not answering my phone. It's gonna be someone chasing money. Nah."
Got a letter in my mailbox, and I know it's from the tax office, and I know I've got an unpaid debt. I'm not fucking opening that because I don't want
That'll
to
make
ruin
it
my
go
day.
away.
Go away. I'm going back to bed because it's safe and no one's hurting me,
100.
right?
100.
But, like, if you can't see, like, that's the first step of anything, is being honest with ourselves, and that is freaking
Really.
scary.
Yep. I also take them through the outcome framework, which is something you gave me as well, which I love so
It's
much.
pretty cool, isn't it?
It's fucking cool. As soon as I learned, I was like, "Right, well, this is getting implemented at the start of everything. This is bloody fab. I love it."
We actually spoke about that the very first episode of this, like, with of Ball State with Tracy,
Yes.
and I went
Yes.
through that again because when it's such a cool little framework to go through, focusing on what you want. But in order to know what you want, you kinda gotta know where you are
Yeah.
sometimes, um, but so the first step when you're working with a client to help them overcome their stuff is, "Here's the truth, and
Mhm.
now we're gonna work out what you want."
Yep.
And then
And
from
then we do
there
pathway.
you I'm assuming that you'd create a plan, an action plan of, "Here's what we're
Yep.
going to do,"
Yep.
and then you hold them accountable to implement
Yep.
that plan.
Yep. And then I take them through, one of the earliest things I take them through to is what I call a hustle, which is a consultation retailing rebooking process, and that usually makes them money, like, straight away. Because I feel like a lot of people become really complacent with their clients, and I'm like, "You need to be doing better consultations, upgrading services, closing retail sales, like, doing things that immediately get you a bit more money." Because as soon as they can see that, first of all, it builds trust with me. Second of all, they almost feel like a bit of like, "Oh, like, okay, I can breathe a little bit now." Because a lot of people, when I meet them, dead up to here, not making enough income to pay the bills, like, it's often very money focused.
I think
Mm.
everyone can relate to that in
Mm.
all areas of life.
Yep.
Actually, anyone listening to this can relate to this because, like, we've all got problems,
Yep.
and we probably define our problems by the symptom or how we feel about the problem,
Yeah.
right? But
Problem
the
can be the symptom,
actual
and the symptom can be the problem.
and that just becomes a cycle, right?
Yeah.
And then the negativity cut starts coming in, the fog starts to become thicker, and you just feel that, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so do you find that like so the common problems that people are having is like cash flow, as you said,
Mm.
staff, like they're feeling like, they
Yep.
can't find good
Yep.
staff, so they're
Yep.
stuck. And so I have to be on the tools or I have to do the work because I
Yep.
can't find good staff.
Yep.
Um, are there any other common ones?
Lots. They never price properly,
The
ever.
pricing, yeah.
As soon as I take them through my pricing structure of actually working out costs, adding in taxes, profit, product, then spitting out the price, then they're like, "Holy fuck, that's why I'm not making any money." And I'm like, "Yep." So we do that pretty early on in the piece as
But
well.
pricing is a scary thing for a lot of people,
Scary.
right?
Yeah, especially
Like
when I'm
a lot
telling
of
people
people.
they've got to put up 40, 50% to even break even.
But every freaking coach tells people to increase their prices. I haven't met a
Yep.
coach that says, "You're too expensive, mate. You need to lower your price."
I tell them to adjust their prices to the right thing because I think some people actually are pricing okay, but maybe they're not busy enough. There might be a different problem. For the
Mm,
most part, people are actually so severely underpriced that they're almost paying people to sit in their chair,
mm.
and that's really scary. But they just price based on everyone around them
What do you think price means?
for the service, like
Like,
service.
why we have this energy around pricing? Like, what do we make it mean?
Look, I charge a lot now, and I do that because I want people who are committed. And if I charge little, then they won't do the work. If I charge them a lot, then they go, "Okay, fuck, I'm doing it."
Mm,
I believe that's also the same thing with pricing in salon services. If you charge higher, you get better quality clients. I actually feel like there's less problems with better quality clients.
yeah.
You probably see that all the time.
Well, interesting. It's almost like, okay, um, I actually don't believe that increasing prices necessarily equals a quality client. I don't
I
always agree
agree.
with that.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think it'd be a universal rule.
I
However,
agree.
however, what it does mean is a level of commitment from the client because, you know,
Correct.
there was a saying, there's uh, sales coach. A memory is being unlocked here, right?
I
And
could watch that coming
could
alive
you
in your
see
head then.
that?
It was
Like there
like
was
a
a
light
freaking
bulb.
like whoa, like a
And you went,
aneurysm going on
"Ha."
there.
Just
So
like that.
basically the idea was we come against across three kinds of people.
Mm.
We come against free people. These are
Yes.
people that want everything for free, right? And the free people
Free
typically
ball.
don't implement and they don't follow through and they typically will blame everyone else for their
Yeah, the
problems.
poor little me's. Poor
But
little
like that, if you
me.
can't do it
Everything
for
happens to
free,
me. Why does
I'm
it
not
always happen to
interested
me?
because I don't want to pay for I don't value your services enough
Yep.
to pay for it. So I'll get the free ebook that you're
Yeah.
putting online, but I'm not going to pay for your help because I just want the free thing, right?
Yep.
Free event, actually free pool. One of my first early jobs was in white goods, right? And selling these stoves. And this is when
So
you remember Clive?
random.
Do you remember Clive Peters?
Yes.
All right. So Clive Peters used to have cooking demonstrations for the stoves. The purpose was to get buyers. So what they did is they had a chef or some cook come into the Clive Peters and demonstrate how to cook, and then you could sample and eat some of the food. So
Skip people
on this,
coming.
I'm going around to all the different stores supporting them, right? And
Yep.
I kid you not, the same couple I saw at all the different stores getting
To
the
get the
free
free little
food.
sample
They
food.
want the free food. Did they buy the stove? No, they
Oh
never had
my
any
god.
intention of buying, right? They're the free pool, right?
I
And
love.
now the second group of people were the cheaple.
Yes.
The cheaple want everything for cheap, but they want everything great,
Yeah.
right? So they will pay a little bit of money, but they're not really prepared to, they don't want to spend any more. They don't, and so, but then there's the people that are willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Right? These are the people that actually want the results so much that
Mm.
they will move mountains to make it work,
I
right?
feel like those cheaple too are almost the ones that they might like invest a little bit in something, but then they'll walk out and do nothing with it. So they just watch things happen. They watch other people doing things, but they never actually do either. It's oh, it's just enough to tip in to show you that I went there, but I've done nothing with it.
Yeah, I bought the school for $9 a
Yep.
month. I've got that, but I haven't done it yet, and I haven't implemented it because it was cheap,
Hmm.
right? And again, I didn't really value it because it was cheap. right?
Yeah.
Get my free book, just pay the shipping. Okay, well,
Yeah.
you might get the book, but how many times have we bought offers like that? And how many times have we implemented it? Like actually did it. Whereas if you spent $5,000 on this course, are you going
Yeah.
to go, oh, don't worry about it. It's fine. It doesn't matter.
Correct. But do you also think too, though, that's like, it's the same with business coaching. Like, I get it all the time, and someone will be like, oh, so and so is like $200 a week. I'm like, do you actually think someone can change your business and help you do that for $200? Because that's okay. You can go and do it with them. Like, that's fine. If you want to pay that, you can pay that. We'll
Why do
see
you
how
think
much
they're
they
so
sign up.
cheap?
Exactly.
Like if they were so good at delivering the result and they could like 10x your business, what do you think
Yep.
that's worth? And
Yeah.
if they could do that, if you could do that for people, would you charge $200?
Yeah.
So what do you think that means about their service? By the way, that was an objection handling tip for those of you out there who are struggling with
Yes. Oh,
prices. Is
high
like,
value illusion. Yeah, it's
right?
good. Yeah.
Um, so there's different types. So the quality is more about the commitment, right? The
Yeah.
commitment to follow through. Because as a coach, I think you want them to get results, and so in
Oh
order
my
for them to get
God.
results, they've got to be committed.
And like, you know, for a long time we did just like group streams and stuff like that, and we found that we weren't getting the results. So we kind of took that away because I was like, you know, like if these like just knowing my people, they're crazy ADHDers, they're all like creative people, they're very kinesthetic, they need to be engaged, you know, all the time. If I throw videos at people, they're just like, oh, this is so boring. But if I'm working with them, guiding them through it, whatever, I know that limits me because it's, you know, one to many makes more money, whatever, but that's not the goal. But it's like, yeah, everything is about the result. I don't want you to come in here and get the result. I fire people who don't do the work. I let them go. I feel like it opens space for someone better.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think a salon should do that for one of their clients?
Yes,
Like, at
absolutely.
what point should a salon owner fire a client?
Oh God, there's so many. I have a whole training on it. Red flag clients, it kind of is. But look, I feel like a lot of the times you'll get those people that just have absolutely unrealistic expectations. And, you know, now with the rise of AI, people are bringing in these incredible hair and beauty photos. You're like, that's not hair. And also, like, what you've got, that's not possible for you. And, like, you know, for me, our rule of thumb in our salons was always like, if you have someone in your chair, they would always pay $100 deposit before their appointment. I was like, if you have someone in your chair and you don't think you can do it, give them their money back and send them on the way and just forego the appointment, because I would rather have a 1-star review for sending someone away than a 1-star review for fucking someone's hair.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what
So,
I mean? Like,
so, and so there's so you're telling these your clients,
mm,
business owners,
yeah.
that we need to increase prices, right? Um,
Adjust them so they're profitable. Yes.
so to create profit, right? So
Yeah.
two ways to generate more profit. Number one, increase the price.
Yep.
Secondly, obviously, is increase margin, improve
Yep.
profitability.
Yep. Yep.
Right? You do both at the same time by 10% here and 10% here. Immediately, you've got like a bit more.
So we do 3 things with that actually. So one of them is lower cost. That's one of the first things we do too. We like literally do like a cost, what do you call it? Audit, like an audit on all their expenses and what they spend. Some of them just spend so much money on stupid shit, you know, like $300 a month on a fucking phone bill. Are you kidding me? When you've got no money otherwise. So the first thing is cost audit. Second thing is time audit. How much time are you wasting? How much time are you allowing for these services? How much time are you allocating? A lot of service businesses use 15-minute time allotments. I'm like, okay, but if something's 40 minutes, then that's 5 minutes in the bin. And, you know, if because you can only book it for 45 minutes. So I'm like, if you can then change it to 5-minute time allotments, then you're only charging for the 40 minutes because it's only taking 40 minutes. You're not kind of throwing that 5 minutes in the bin. So those sorts of things. And also a lot of people spend way too much time on services. I'm like, how does it take you 2 hours to do a fucking haircut? Come on. You know, like really? Like what are you doing with them? Like, and then yeah,
Well, maybe they don't want to tell you what
well,
they're doing with them, and that's why they've got the repeat business. Let me tell you.
yeah, and then if they've got that low enough and that is what it is, I never say to undercut, obviously you can't, but then it's like from there, then we would adjust the price up. So yeah, it's a
Yeah,
combination of things.
because there's only, and I learned this from Jay Abraham, and some of the people
Love.
don't know who Jay is, but Jay Abraham is
Oh,
one of the founding fathers of business consulting, effectively.
yeah.
And so there's only three ways to grow a business. Number one is to get new customers, new
Mm.
clients. Number two is to get them to spend more money, and the third way is to get them to come back more often.
Yeah.
And then if you increase each of those 3 areas by, say, a percent, 10% each, it's
Yep.
10% times 10% times 10%, and you get
Yeah.
geometric business growth.
Yeah.
And so in terms of truth, like, and I love the word, it's a scary word, but audit. And,
Yeah.
like, how sexy is an audit? "Oh, yeah, baby, let's audit my business. Yes! Frick yeah!" Um,
Totally.
and it's really not sexy because no one likes to be audited, and that's the truth. But from the truth, we create a
Exposing and
plan to actually, like
confronting.
you said, time audit, which I love. I love task
Yeah.
and time audits.
Yeah.
Looking at your numbers and working out from a cost point of view where we're at, and looking at the business model and going, all right, here's what we're charging, here's the gaps. What does the price need to be? As you said, to recalibrate or reset that pricing. So it's not based on what we think people will pay, it's
Mm,
what it needs to be, right?
absolutely.
So what are ways, obviously there's different ways to approach pricing because some people just do the fuck it method. And the fuck it method is,
That's
I'm just
every
raising my
hairdresser
prices.
and barber and salon owner ever until they meet me.
Yeah,
Just have a
the fuck
stab.
it. Well, I'm just raising my price and you can cop it. That's it. Done.
Yeah.
Um, what are ways that you help people to raise their prices? Because I know, like, there's lots of different ways of which,
Yeah.
and I guess it comes down to value in many
Yeah.
respects and how we position things. But what are some things that you do to help people raise their prices?
Yeah, I mean, and I think you are as well. I'm an NLP master as well. So I do a lot with their mindset and their self-worth and their value and those sorts of things too. But I think honestly, like people come to me because they've got a problem. I then show them all the other problems that they have. And then I kind of it's that opportunity cost thing where it's like, okay, if you don't do this, by the end of this year, you're going to be, another 100, 200K in the hole, or you're going to be, in the same spot you are, opposed to if you just do these few things that are difficult, and yes, they hurt, and yes, they suck, and yes, you might have fucking Barb throw a hissy fit because she's got to pay an extra $7 in her foils. But like at the end of the day, do you want to keep looking after Barb and staying in the same spot? Or do you want to just do the hard thing that I'm telling you to do, that you're paying me so much money to tell you to do? And then you're going to end up, astronomically further along than what you thought. And so I think it's kind of like, yeah, that opportunity cost of if you stay doing the same thing or if you do the things that are hard and painful
So,
and
so
scary
what
and
typically happens when they
Mhm.
raise their price? Like, explain to me the disaster that unfolds when someone raises their prices.
Yeah, worst case scenario, someone will kick off, be like, "Oh my god, that's gone up so much," whatever. It's like, "That's fine, you can go down the road." Like, I give them strategies around that too. I'm like, "That's cool, just send them to Just Cuts. Just send them to wherever." Like, it doesn't there's plenty of chop shops and plenty of people that are like, churn them in, churn them out. Don't engage, don't bite back, don't, get angry or whatever, because then it's just two people that end up yelling at each other. That's the worst case scenario, and I reckon it happens less than 1% of the time.
Mhm.
Really, like, it's that fear of, "Oh my god," and I'm like, "Well, that's you projecting your own fears about your own pricing and your own worth." I'm like, "Let's talk about that. Like, let's unpack that now."
So do people need to unpack it before they do it then? Like, do they
A
need
lot of
to
the time, yeah.
actually, like, does any business owner that wants to raise price but has resistance of fear
Yep,
around it, they need to
100%.
work on mindset prior to doing the price rise?
Completely. I've got a client, Shay, she will love me talking about this. She is actually from
Hi,
Geelong.
Shay. Nice to meet
She's from
you.
my hometown. She came to me. She was a solo girl with just an apprentice.
Mm,
And this was last February last year. She was turning over $3,800 a week. Expenses are somewhere around that 5, 6 grand a week mark. So husband's topping up everything, whatever. I had 5 conversations with her over 3 months about putting her prices up, adjusting them. They were about 20 to 30% across the board. And she finally did it. And she was like, "No one's complained. No one's left me." "What do you
shock.
mean? I could have been charging this a year ago." And now,
Yeah.
in 1 year, she's upgraded her salon, bought a new car, turning over $11,000 a week, and she's only added 1 more staff member in, and she's happy.
And the
Like,
main thing was charging more.
yes, that was her main thing.
And so, wow. I mean, it sounds so simple. So,
It sounds
but
simple.
people don't do it because they're scared. Is that right?
Well, I think that, look, maybe this is going back to my feminism conversation earlier. Hairdressers are told from the day that they leave school and start hairdressing that they're dumb, they're gossipy, they can't charge enough. It's just an easy job. It's this, it's that, it's the other. From people who have no fucking idea actually how hard it is. It's hard on the body, it's hard on the mind. You're like working with people all day. You've got to be on all day, like on crack happy every day. And as well as that, why we do the same apprenticeship as a plumber, as a mechanic, as a sparky, as a builder, as a brickie, and you're telling me I can't charge the same. So I think that's kind of like drummed in from a very young age. And then we also work for people who also don't really know the system and maybe they've been in the business a long time and they're just coasting along and they're kind of happy. Like how many people do you meet that have had a hairdressing, well, you might not, but I meet them all the time, had a hairdressing salon for 20, 30, 40 years and they sell for 50 grand.
Mm.
That's you out after like 30 years of
Yeah.
slumming it behind a chair. Wow, that's sad.
It's
You
like
know?
everything. I know I've met so many people that are in business because they just sort of fell into it. That's what they do. And so just because you're good
That
at
was kind of
something,
me. I
but we
kind of
but
fell
we
into it.
do, but it happens to so many people
Yeah.
where you've kind of just sort of fallen into it based on your skill set, but you
Yeah.
haven't learned the business principles, the foundations of how to
Yeah.
actually grow a business. So I
Mm.
was speaking to some finance brokers recently, right?
Mm.
And they
What a cool
love
job. See,
submitting deals,
middleman. Middleman.
right?
Get the
Right?
loan for
But
the person to buy the
they
thing.
love doing the loans, but they have zero idea. Many of them have zero idea how to generate clients, how to do marketing. But because it's not something that they've studied or learned about. They've learnt broking, they've
Yeah.
learnt that thing, but they haven't learnt how to build a successful business because
They're
it's
compliance people. They're
not the
rules
course.
people. They're systems people. Yeah.
Right? So hairdressers, any trade, even even accountants and bookkeepers, right? Like, even though that they're numbers people, doesn't necessarily mean they're very good business people because what's the stereotypical advice the accountant's going to tell you? Cut back
Ugh.
on marketing, please, because you're spending too much money on ads.
I could go on a tangent about this, and I love my accountant. Glenn's fucking fab. He's so creative, and I love him, but he is an absolute type A nerdburger, and I love that for him. I need that because that's the opposite of me. But the amount of accountants or clients that I get that are like, "Oh, my accountant was just like, oh, why aren't things growing? Or you need to grow this," but they have no strategy of how to actually do that. I'm like, that's why you need good accountant, good mentor, business coach, marketing agent, all the things to help you with all that other stuff that you don't know how to do, like. What, you just think you're gonna wake up one day, it's gonna grow? Grow! Here's my magic fairy dust.
Ta-da!
Go.
Fertilizer. I get to go to pull some.
100%. Do you know what I mean?
Wow. So, so you really, it's interesting because I always believe like the power of our mindset and our inner game, our
Mm,
inner dialogue
mm,
is as ourselves. We are the biggest reason why our business is we are the reason our business is either growing or struggling. We are
totally.
it's where it stops. And if you don't have um anyone helping you
Yeah.
overcome your shit,
Mm.
then you won't overcome your shit unless unless you kind of learn how to do it or brute force. You just freaking like
Things shoved.
uh, gonna gonna freaking I hate my life, right? I'm just
Yeah.
gonna fucking kill myself and keep
Yeah.
pushing until I die.
Also, therapy's scary. Makes you face the things you don't wanna face.
Well, it is. A psychologist, I met a psychologist, I was dealing with some stuff and
Yeah.
they really said to me, "Michael, you're very brave." And
Oh.
I didn't understand what that meant.
Yeah.
Because talking through stuff has just been something that I've been doing for years because,
Yep.
through coaching and my own personal development and
Mhm.
I've, gone through my own journey. But a lot of people haven't. A lot of people
Yeah.
haven't really gone there. And some people will call, "Oh, that's all woo-woo bullshit," right? Like that stuff doesn't mean anything. Like
Yeah.
positive thinking, fuck that. I'm just gonna go on. I'm gonna go to read the new Alex Hormozy book, and I'm good. Um, because the answers will be there.
Yeah.
And actually, interestingly, some people often think that they don't know the solution either. They
Yeah.
don't know what to do. Do you find that to be true? Like, let's say you help them overcome their bullshit thinking in their
Yeah.
head. Do they actually know what the solution is most times?
I think that's true with everything I teach. Nothing I teach is like this massive, like revolutionary thing. It's just showing people the right way, or even just starting the conversation is enough to get them going.
Mm,
Like we had a client this earlier this week who was like, "Oh my God, we haven't even done any of the sales strategy things that you've taught us. But just by you getting, because I give them like a staff tracking sheet as well, I'm like, just getting them to write down, did this client rebook? Did this client buy retail? They've started thinking about it more and it's more active and conscious. So they're actually doing it. I think a lot of the things that people teach, it's actually pretty common sense. Even Hormozy is a great example. The things you post are so great. And like, you're like, oh, wow. I just needed that brought back into my
that's
front of
so
my mind again.
simple. Like, it
So
isn't like
simple.
the ideas, the simplest ones, like task order, right? So when we're doing a time order, right? So
Yep.
this is the mirror, right? If you complain, if you're the type of person who's complaining, oh my god, I got no time, I'm so busy. Well, let's have a look at where you're spending your time because you'll be surprised. So we'd get we'd get this is when I was doing business coaching about 5 years ago. We'd get
Yep.
people to get it. It's a simple spreadsheet,
Yep.
literally so simple. You
Yep.
write down the task, how many
Yep.
hours a week you're doing it,
Mhm.
um, and then you can actually work out, make a decision. Are you going to do? You can do a DDD thing: do, delegate, delete.
Yep.
And there's probably other decisions that you can make on it.
Yep.
Um, so in order to delegate, you need to probably make a system, train
Yep.
someone else, offload. Who are you going to offload it to?
We
And then
also
the
have a
question,
delay in ours. Delay is the fourth one. We're
delays,
like,
cool.
delay, like you can just like dump it on the list for a rainy day. Like it doesn't need to be on even on the list right now.
So let's say someone wrote down everything they do in the week, right?
Yeah.
All the tasks that they do. If you
Mm,
were sitting with a client, how
mm.
would you help them to determine what they need to put off their plate?
Oh, first thing I tell everyone to do is get a housekeeper. Most of my clients, like even if they're not super busy, even if they're whatever, I'm like, but that's occupying your brain.
Hmm.
Everyone needs one. I'm like, literally for mine's $165 for 3 hours. And what she does in 3 hours would take me 2 days because I get distracted and I do something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, we literally do pretty much exactly the same thing. I'm like, okay, but this thing could cost you $80, but you could do two clients in that time. That makes you $500, $1,000.
So let's talk about that because there's gold in what you just said.
Mm,
So it's is what I'm doing the best use of my time,
yeah,
right? So how does someone determine that? How does someone answer that question? Because you just said
yeah,
cleaning is not a good use of time because you could be
yeah.
doing something else. So what
Especially with the
is
workload I'm about to give them.
yeah? So
Oh,
what
you have
is
no time now?
so
That's
where should their
nice.
time be going? So for example, if they're stuck, should their time be going on growth? Should it be on training their people? Should it be on
Yeah.
systemizing? How does someone know where to put their time?
Well, I mean, we work that out. At the end of the day, I'm not training them to be better at their skill that they do or their trade that they do. I'm teaching them to be better business owners. Usually, the first thing I do is usually try and get them off the floor 1 day a week because I'm like, I'm about to give you a ton of stuff that you're going to do. Tracking sheets every week. Just actual coaching workload. Like you probably need 2 hours a week to do that. As well as that, most of my clients are working 5, 6 days a week by the time they start with me. So I'm like, if we could just get you out, just 1 day, get you out, that would free up so much time. I also make owners charge more than their staff.
Offer the
So they,
services.
yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, always tiered pricing. Your time is more valuable, irrespective of if you're the best hairdresser, the best barber, the best beauty therapist, the most, experience. Your time is more valuable. I'm not going to my friend who's a lawyer and seeing his junior for the same price I'm paying for him.
Mm.
That's another thing that I think really helps people to kind of like assert themselves as the owner. And look, I'm a person that nothing was beneath me. I'd clean color bowls if my staff needed it. I'd help them shampoo their clients and prep and do that sort of thing if I had time and they needed the help. Like nothing's beneath me. But if you want to see me for a service and you want to take up my time, I'm going to charge really well for that.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't think there's any blanket rule, but generally a housekeeper is the first thing that stresses people out.
I love that. So everyone needs to hire a housekeeper, and I'm about to launch a housekeeping business. So guys, go to my link, and I'll clean your house for you. My price just went up, by the way, from this
Yep.
conversation.
Yep.
I don't have any staff yet. I haven't worked it out yet, but if this goes viral, I'm launching, and everyone wants a cleaner. Freaking, I'm in. I'm gonna launch
Yeah.
that. I'm
I
being facetious, but,
I know, but this is the thing though. I actually think Cam was doing our lawns for a little while, and now he's decided to take on extra hours at work and like getting all this overtime pay and stuff. So it's like what we pay the gardener is what he earns in 1 hour at work for
mm.
someone to do our gardener. So it's like those sort of things. I'm like, why are we doing this? We both hate it. Like, just get someone else to do it.
Isn't it interesting? The price comes down to a question of, what am I worth?
Yep. What is my
And
time worth?
that brings up shit, because our self-worth brings up our childhood, it brings up our parents' school,
Yep.
all the, um, judgments and limiting beliefs we have about ourselves,
Yep.
and that's what's scary, isn't it?
Totally. Totally. We
What are
also
some
decipher limiting decision or limiting belief as well. We're like, come on.
Yeah, like,
Work
the
through that. Like, come on.
what's your go-to method to help someone overcome a limiting belief?
Uh, depends what it is. I think a lot of the time, the belief within my clients tends to be that they've never seen someone else in their family do it or they've never like seen it happen. So I think giving them a connected community does help them to kind of be like, oh, people are doing it and they're not whatever. I think also knowing what I've done in my business is they're kind of like, oh, I can take a day off and no one's going to die. The salon's not going to burn
So they need
down.
proof that it's possible.
I think evidence and proof is a huge thing,
Mm.
which is I would say true of a lot of people as well. But I think also, yeah, look, I always recommend like if I don't like to delve too much into family history and stuff like that. I always recommend they see someone professional for that. But if we can even expose that a little bit or show them why they're thinking that way or why they feel that way, as terrible as it is, I have a lot of clients. I've only got 4 male clients. All the rest are female, by the way, or one
With
non-binary.
masculine energy?
Totally, they are once they work with me. But what's true of a lot of my clients also is really unsupportive partners.
Mm.
Partners who expect them to be baby makers, homemakers, financially contribute as much as they do. They don't offer any help. You know, when the kids are off sick and their husband, boyfriend, whatever is employed, they're expected to cancel their day's worth of clients opposed to the other person doing it or alternating. That's a big thing.
How do you
Really,
deal with
really
that?
common. Tell them their boyfriend's a pleb and no, I don't really. No, we talk about it.
Are you the king breakup maker? Like, you've broken up so many
Michael,
relationships.
every time someone comes to one of my retreats,
Oh!
someone
Speaking of breakups, the dog's barking and like,
who's my
"Ah!"
mentor. I know. So honestly, at every single one of my retreats, someone will message me about 2 weeks after and be like, "Oh my God, I realized that my partner was not what I wanted in my future, or I did my pros and cons, or I sat there and really looked at my relationship and like what I want it to be as a whole." Like at the end of the day, I've left a marriage too, you know, and I'm in a beautiful marriage now, but how I did it for myself is how I do it for my clients, which I sat down and I'm like, what does my perfect day look like? What does my life look like? What do I want it to be
Yeah.
like? And I
Did you
realized
know,
through that it didn't include my husband.
when you work on yourself, and like, business is the ultimate personal development journey. It will bring up
Mm,
all your shit. In order for your business to grow, you have to grow. But what can
yeah.
happen from a coaching point of view is there's a term called ecology.
For every
And you know
cause
what
there's
I mean by
effect.
that?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. For every cause
So,
there's a
if you're in business and you're growing, right, and you're having to work on yourself, but your partner is not,
yeah,
what happens is you can often outgrow your partner, and then you
that was
become
me.
different people.
That
Yeah.
was me. Yeah. And he got emasculated and jealous and mean and horrible. And I'm just like, I'm just living. I'm just shining. Like I'm just like just doing my thing. Like, would love you to come along with me. But you know, if that hurts your feelings, well, I can't help you.
Yeah. And
And
that's
also when
the
you've got
price,
one
isn't it?
well, and this is the thing, it's like it's also when you've got like I'm on an NLP therapy journey, like unpacking my childhood, unpacking all those things. He's like stuck, stagnant, staying this, staying whatever. My bright shininess and growing and happiness would make him feel little. You know, it's the wrong
Mm.
thing. Now I'm with a man who looks at me like the love heart eye emoji whenever I
Aw.
do.
That last question of the outcome frame, like,
Mm,
and let's just quickly go through it for people. What 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 would you like? What would having that
mhm.
do for you?
Yep,
How will you know you have it?
yep.
When, where, and with whom would you like it? What are you prepared to lose that you value to have it?
That's a huge one. People don't like that
What
one.
are you gonna give up? Because the giving up part is like, I don't wanna give up anything.
Yeah.
But it could be your relationship. It
Yeah.
could be those limiting beliefs that you have around your self-worth and your value, or you have to give up the facade that you've got it all under.
Yes. I also think with that too, I talk about this a lot when I talk, like, when I present and stuff, is like, we have seasons where you're gonna have to give up a lot of your time, a lot of your effort, a lot of your weekends. Like, it just happens. If you wanna really, like, get it done, like, I've got clients who work through I've got clients who work through their coaching thing in, like, a few months, and they just wanna smash it out and get it done and get it implemented and do the things and whatever, and it's great. And I have others that just wanna coast along, and that's also fine. But there are stages where it's like, "Hey, I am building or I am growing. I'm in a growth phase at the moment. It's fucking killing me." Like, but, like, there's seasons that you just have to give up sometimes. We don't get to do social things sometimes,
Mm.
even as small as that people aren't willing to give up.
And that's like the free pool, the cheap pool, or the people who are prepared to do whatever it takes because you can
100.
like you can often say like you can say I'm prepared to do whatever it takes to grow my business and be successful and achieve goals, but are you actually?
Yes. Correct. Correct.
There was a guy, one of the guy who taught me some coaching, and he was saying this woman wanted him to do some change work on her, like fix me, right? And he goes, I'm not gonna fix you.
Mm,
I'm not ever gonna take your money. And
the
she's like, "What do you
language.
mean? What do you mean? Like, I'm offering you money." He goes, "Look, you need to go for a 5-kilometer run in the rain, and then I'll consider working with you.
Getting them to buy in,
Like, how
seeing
much
them.
do you actually want this?"
Mm.
And another coach said, "Hey, you wanna work with me? 50 grand up front, and you have 7 days." Now
I
that brings up shit, right? Like, what do you mean? Fuck you. Like, how dare like, I'm not what do you mean 7 days? Brings up all limiting beliefs about I can't, that's not gonna happen,
Yeah.
all this stuff. Pressure. How do
Yeah.
you respond to pressure, or how much do you actually want this, right?
Yeah.
And so I imagine that, like, business is just uncovering all these elements of ourselves that are just like, "What's holding me back? What's
Yeah.
holding me back?" Um, and that's where obviously, I mean, I love coaching. I mean, I think you're
Totally.
amazing. I think what you do for people is freaking unreal because it
I'm
takes
very
us
blessed.
it
They make
takes
me feel
us
really
it
good.
takes a special kind of person to be that coach for people.
Yeah, there's a lot of frauds, hey? There's a lot of
What
people that are very
what
good at
make
it.
what do you think makes a good coach?
I think people who actually care about the result. I think a lot of people go into coaching because they see an opportunity to make more money or they see an opportunity to get out of what they're doing. I think a lot of coaches, um, just yeah, it's not for the heart of it, it's not for the betterment of other people, it's not for helping, it's not for those things, like, one, I want my industry to be better. How great would it be if we all collectively started being better and charging more and whatever? And two, I want, predominantly female entrepreneurs to be doing really well in their lives and to create those things for themselves. I think that's like the end of it, and I'll do whatever it takes to help them with that. I
Fucking
think
love
that's if
that.
I don't need the money. I'm fine.
But that's the energy that you want. I think everyone needs the energy of, "I don't need the money. I'm doing this because I'm passionate about it and I wanna help people." Like,
Yep.
that becomes you'll be successful because you wanna help people and you care and
Yeah.
give a shit about
Yeah,
their result. Just
totally.
I think fear, and you know, our inner
Dialogue
voice
person.
holds us
Yep.
back in many areas, like, whether it's increasing our prices, staff, all this
Mm.
sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Without a coach, do you have any tips for people on how they can do a quick sort of overcome the bullshit voice in their head?
In terms of putting their prices up.
Or anything, like
Anything.
whatever their problem is, like they're confronting. Do you have any tips that someone can like self-coach
Yeah.
or do an
Yeah.
exercise that they
I
could
work
actually do?
I work backwards. So I start with what I want, and then I work out where I am, and then I work out how to get to what I want. And I think sometimes when you, like, actually identify what it is that you wanted, that's really hard, like, really hard for some people. I remember in 2021 my barbershop, I still have my barbershop at this stage. So in 2020, it was shut down for like 8 months because it was in Victoria. It was the worst year. I lost people to construction. It was horrible. At the end of 2020, I moved to Queensland. I move alone. I don't know anyone. I'm just like still freaking mentally and financially recovering from the year before. And it took me 8, 9, 10 months to work out what it was that I actually wanted. And like actually coming to that was really hard. But then once I was like, okay, cool. Now I know that I want this. This is where I'm at. I worked bare minimum. I just needed a breather. Then I kind of worked back the steps when I was coaching myself through. And I think that's like the best thing that people can do for themselves is like, what do you want first? And where are you now? And then it's like, what's stopping me? What's cock blocking me? Like, what's, stopping me from getting to what I want? Move them on or create distance if it's people. And then it's like, then just do the thing.
Just do it. The you know, f going to the outcome frame or goal-based
Mm,
approach,
mm,
um, is very much what I guess, like, law of attraction kind of principles, where we're either
yeah.
focusing on what we want or what we don't want, and either way,
Yeah.
we'll get it.
You'll manifest it. Yep.
Like, I'll get whatever I focus on. So, what am I choosing to focus on? So, therefore, I've got these problems, got these fears. Cool, we could focus on that if you want more of it. But
Mm,
if we otherwise, what would you like? So, and a really good tool that I learned from a guy called Chris Prime, and it's one of my
mm,
very first PD events, personal development events,
wow.
was he called it a T tool,
Oh,
and the
what?
T tool it's called a T tool, like a T,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
So you get a piece of paper, line down the middle of the page, line
Mm,
at the top. Very, very simple.
mhm,
The left column, you write at the top, don't want, right? And then the
mm,
right side, so what do I want?
yeah.
Right? So you start on the left and you go,
What an away
everything
from
that I hate,
vocabulary.
everything, all my problems, my staff are shit. I'm not making money. I've lost profit. I have no time. All the things that I hate, the things that I don't want this stuff, but
Yeah.
these are things like, so you look at each item and you go, cool, ask yourself that question. So what do I want?
Mhm.
And then you start to create a clarity list of actually what you do want. And that
Yeah.
helps to reframe and struct just instantly with one, like 5 minutes to start to go, okay, cool. And then ask yourself, like, where am I focusing?
Yeah. I think a lot of people, we call it toward and away from modality, which is kind of
Yes.
similar to that too, which is like, are you running away from something or are you working towards something? Because when you're away, you're kind of just like going to whatever will get you out of that situation. Whereas when you're going toward, it's obviously that beeline, like hard moving forward focus. And it's much better. But I love that. It's honestly sometimes that simple, isn't it?
That,
Like
no,
just
that
like,
towards and away
don't
from
want
thing that you
toward.
mentioned is
Mm,
so true about, motivation, right? I don't want
yeah.
to be broke. I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be broke. Ah, I'm no longer broke. Right.
And even a
And
bit of like fuck you energy, like I want to show them what I can do and I want to, like I want to prove like it's like, ugh. Like,
I don't want bad clients. I
yeah.
don't want bad clients. I don't want
I
bad
don't want
clients.
narcissistic staff.
I am
Yeah.
sick
You
of
manifest.
bad staff who don't do their job. I am
Yeah.
over it, right? And then you say, well, so technically, by you focusing on that, you're attracting more bad stuff
100.
because you've become the boss that complains about their staff, create a culture of complacency,
Yep.
and you're just like sitting. You're the critic of your team and building zero motivation at like it's dead.
And a fish rots from the head, right? I think you spoke about that before. You're like, everything starts at the top. I love that. Like, a fish rots from the head. Like, if you walk into your business or your online business or whatever, and you're vibrating here, all your staff are going to copy that and they're all going to be vibrating at the same level. And it's, ugh.
So wow. So you do 89 clients right now. You're helping
Yeah.
them with their systems, you're helping them with their
Mm,
pricing, you're helping them
mm.
with all this sort of stuff. What's next for you?
Very heavy in the IVF at the moment, so hopefully some babies. So this is kind of like growth.
Woo!
This is a bit of a growth, but like I've also like I'm outsourcing lots now at the moment to kind of like create that space because I realized up until now I have not created space for that. So actually I'm kind of moving into just like a bit of a flow here, like just like keep things going as they are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um, if anyone's listening to this and they think you're awesome, and they go, "Oh my god, I am in hair and I have these problems that we've spoken
Yep.
about. What's the best way for someone to get in touch with you?
Yeah, Iconic Coaching through our website, through our Instagram, is the best way. When you plug in whatever way you'll do that, whether it's filling out a form, whether it's sending us a message, whatever, my staff will pick it up and they'll guide you through the whole thing. Or podcast if you want to hear me blab. Tell me about it podcast.
I love hearing Caitlyn blab. It's great.
It's kind of it's what we were discussing earlier. It's like there's no consistency. It's business, it's life, it's money, it's fucking people, it's cool people doing cool shit. It's random, like
So,
me.
I think, and if you don't resonate with Caitlyn, you're an idiot. But no,
You're a
you're not an idiot.
bore.
Yeah. You're probably not a hairdresser, you're not in the industry, and that's fine. But I think from this discussion, I think we've just highlighted a huge value in recognizing those limitations that we have.
Mm,
So whether it's to do with um, the energy of how we do our business, so whether we're leaning into a masculine or a feminine, or how do we show up in terms of who do we need to be in order for our business to be successful, and asking ourselves that and being the leader, being the person who's actually making those decisions
yeah,
rather than being the victim of our business and sort of losing our power. So you've got to step into your power.
yeah,
Other thing I think we spoke about today was really insightful was about looking at the truth.
yeah,
If you have problems, but you're not looking at the truth, you're avoiding stuff, then that's
yep,
probably the first step. Look at the actual thing, whether it's an audit, and if you're having problems with that, speak to a coach, speak to a consultant, find an
yeah,
expert that you can sit with to look at the truth, and then work out what do you actually want.
yeah,
And then very simple, what am I gonna do? And just do it.
yep,
Have I
100%.
missed anything?
No, I love it. It's
Sounds
so
simple, doesn't it?
yeah. You have a
And
great memory. Forgotten half
I don't.
locked in.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. I just find this conversation really, really interesting, um, and I really strongly believe that simple is the best way forward in business. When we complicate things, it just becomes a mess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Caitlin, I want to thank you so much for going balls deep with me today. Um, and
Thank you
I
for having me.
looking forward to maybe having you back and talking about some other things. But in the meantime, I'm
Wow.
looking forward to your next viral episode of your podcast. I can't wait to.
Hopefully it's about something more important like business or something like that than fucking offending the manosphere, but
Either
whatever.
way, I'll probably see you on maths next year. Awesome. Thanks,
But thank
Caitlin.
you.